Thank you, Dr. Swamy. I think as taking no offenses and there are no meaning, and I think mostly in a lighter vein, the journalists are known to be asking questions and the teachers are known to be providing answers. So Balu Garu may ask a question and this teacher would like to give an answer.
Sir, thank you so much, Dr. Rao, Dr. Swamy. When we, this is a subject that keeps engaging me from time to time. I keep thinking about it a lot in terms of what exactly does peace mean? It means so many things at so many levels. And where does it begin? And where does it end? See, what's the goal? When do we say, okay, there's peace? And I know it's a big question. It's a huge question in terms of the span. Please.
Shall I?
Yes.
So maybe if you look at the genesis of the word peace, the Westerners try to send a message, or say maybe try to convince the world, peace is something, is a solution when there is a conflict. When there's a conflict, then there's a peace. But we Indians, or say the East, we believed that you don't need to have a conflict to arrive at peace. The peace can be from within. So once the peace is from within, then the family is at peace, the community is in peace, maybe the society is in peace, then maybe the world can be peaceful. So what is more important is the peace from within. So this is what I would look. When you ask me, what exactly is this peace? Peace is not something you have a dispute on some issue, and then you try to find a solution. Why should that conflict even arise in the first place? Can we, maybe in the utopian world, can we look towards that particular concept? So this is where I would look peace as something is not a conflict resolution, but could be individual. Every individual needs to be at peace with himself. Then he can be at peace with the next person, and then the rest and the world.
So when we talk about peace, when we talk about inner peace, when we talk about peace at an individual level, how does one go about achieving it as an individual? And if a person actually manages to find that peace,
yeah, yes.
I know it's not the easiest of things to do. How does this person who has achieved this peace, I'm not saying everybody should become a Gautam Buddha or Bodhisattva or something like that. It's not possible. But when a person achieves this level of contentment or peace, how does this person go about helping others around him or her reach the same state?
True.
I think that's a big part of being at peace.
Yeah. So this is a beautiful question, because it's easier said than done. I can easily say peace is nothing but an individual peace. So once an individual peace is achieved, the world peace is achieved. So that's it's very easy to say that. But now coming to that particular concept again, how does one achieve peace? We're looking at I think going by the topic of the theme of the discussion also, how do the universities help in arriving in the world peace? So how can that be achieved? So I would say to reach peace, you need to teach peace. Let's not.
What you're saying is to reach peace.
To reach peace, you need to
teach peace.
Teach peace. Yeah.
Can you elaborate? Can you tell us what you do and how it should be done?
Yeah. So because let's not assume that everyone knows what it is to be peaceful. So achieving the inner peace. So it can be done in many ways. You cannot really customize it if you are talking about an education. But if we can make somebody realize what exactly is this peace about. So how can you be at peace with yourself? So for that inner realization, whether it's Jiddu Krishnamurti, whether Gautam Buddha, all the philosophers did talk about, you identify the I in you, the I. if you take out that Aham Brahmasmi, or say I want something, because everything starts and ends there. If you take, I mean, why does all this happen? So now, if you're looking at how do the universities can look at it. So maybe I'll take one example. Can we teach the children? Because if you have to reach the peace, can we teach them something about maybe the value-based education? It's not just the classes. I mean, it's just not what's there in the textbooks. There's much more than that. Maybe they get easily influenced by the personalities. That's why we say brand marketing. So just the way maybe somebody is influenced by Sachin Tendulkar or Shah Rukh Khan. Maybe let's teach them about maybe their along with. I'm not saying don't take away our Shah Rukh Khans. Let's teach Sachin Tendulkar. Let them get influenced. Let's also add Mother Teresa. Let's also add Mahatma Gandhi. Let's also tell them about the life stories of these people. So then they would know it has taken something. Maybe somewhere down the line they would get influenced. Also tell them when the whole of the world together, as we talk about United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So can we tell them a hunger-free world? Is it something big? Safe drinking water, gender equality. So these are all contributors to this thing. So is anybody teaching them? So United Nations safely says, okay, I've got 210 member countries, we're all signatories to SDG. Is there any attempt to drive home this point? If I, as a student, if somebody tells me these are the goals that we can work towards, so that means it's not for me. I'm working for somebody. Somebody else is drinking water. Somebody else is a clean, the gender equality, or a hunger-free world, or say these are the small things. The cooperation. Maybe I would get some influence, or maybe the teachings would help me, or maybe talking about the religion, all the religions of the world, tell religions what's best about all the religions. So you would appreciate, and definitely I can see in the society present day, there's a kind of a, I would not want to use the word hatred, that's too harsh, but maybe some kind of a perception towards other religions. This religion is cause for all this. So this religion is doing all this. The people from this religion are. So that way, those perceptions, can we drive away those perceptions of these young minds by teaching about all the religions? So there's so much to be done, so much can be done at the universities in shaping the young minds, so that the priest is not sitting at home and meditating and saying Om, 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 and then you go to the street and then do much more. So one, you need to appreciate yourself. You also need to appreciate the society around you, and then how you can contribute to the society. You don't have to do much, but realize what the society is wanting. So I'm just talking about how many people really know there's a continent called Africa and the problems that they have. So this is what, when we talk about world peace, these are the things that I, for one, would, these are the ideas that come to my mind.
So again, I mean, since you have placed this crown of thorns on my head saying I'm a journalist, and so I'll ask you.
No, not at all. It's a conversation. I should also be asking you questions.
No, I know. I'm just...
Sorry if I need, give me a break for, yeah, please go ahead.
As the Vice-Chancellor of the university, MIT, PC, World Peace University, what can you tell us about what your university does for the students to understand these concepts, these principles, what you talked about? How does one dovetail something like this, an issue that can be that can appear so overwhelmingly large that people might even be scared to look at it? How do you make your kids? When I'm saying kids, I'm talking about your students.
Students, yeah.
How do you make
all the teachers call students kids, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've had some university background, so
yeah, of course.
Academic setting, I can't help calling students kids because,
of course, yeah, all of us do.
It's much more. I think it's much more caring that I treat them like my children. So,
yeah, of course, all of us do. Yeah.
So, how do you? What does your university do? What kind of things do your students do to get to, at least to start off on this path, if not get to where they should be getting?
Now, as I mentioned, our promoters, Dr. Vishnath Karat, he strongly believes that we need to be doing something towards the world peace. So I think it's his dream, his vision. At the same time, he's also very conscious of the fact, when we talk about world peace, we are not looking at something like Gurukul or ashram, where we are all expecting people to be turned into monks and then go and preach peace. Definitely not. You can be what you are. I've got 100 programs, 100 graduate and postgraduate programs in my university, ranging from as sophisticated like AI, ML of tomorrow's to public health and sustainable goals to government and all that. So you can still be the student, you can still learn what you want. But what we say is like, it's compulsory for every student. So to at least opt for 6 peace courses, compulsory courses, credit courses. And we are not talking about the electives yet. So we teach the students what the peace is. Maybe some of the examples in the beginning I mentioned. So maybe in the first trimester, the student is given a choice to choose, to pick a biography of his choice. We would not say you study this. And then at the end of the trimester, you need to give an assignment how this particular person who chose, how his methods would, how you see them as contributing towards peace. It's a different matter. There is somebody who chose to Shivaji Maharaj. Of course, in the state of Maharashtra, it's expected, and how he showed that this is how he also contributed towards peace. But the basic idea here is that is here somebody has done something, some achiever, and through achiever's life you can see a message is there also there's a message towards working towards peace. So this is what they study in, sorry?
If I may just interject here, and I apologize for cutting you. I find it very interesting that one of your students picked Shivaji as a person to study. The public perception, what we've been taught in our history lessons in school, are that he is a martial leader. He's a martial man.
He is. But that's what we thought. But you must give that. I mean, I'm not saying right or wrong.
That's what I'm saying. It's very interesting.
It's interesting, and he has defended. And I was told by the teacher that his essay was the best in how he showed that how he thought empowering the people in the state, then bringing them the freedom. Why that was the biggest need of the hour for the people. Okay, let's not go into this thing. But
right. But I just thought it was interesting. It was a side level.
Yeah. Because almost in every speech of our founder, in every platform, he comes with this thing. Osama bin Laden was also an engineer. And Mokshigundam Vishwesharaya also a civil engineer. Both of them are civil engineers. Look what Osama bin Laden did and what Mokshigundam Vishwesharaya did. So that means it's not the education alone, how you need to respect the citizens around you, the people around you, the issues around you. So this is where we feel that, because we gave them the choice. Had we told, no, all of you need to read Mahatma Gandhi, all of you need to read Nelson Mandela, then probably they would read and there would be one more exercise and one more thing. So we thought, we never stopped anybody. So I'm just giving an example. So that way, you are giving the life stories of achievers. So probably most of them, they pick the peacekeepers. Generally, most of the peacekeepers. In the second trimester, they're also told about all the religions. They're part of the religions of the world. I think we teach about 12 religions of the world, and then and all the good things. And some of the people do come and tell us that, sir, we never knew that Islam has so many good things and it's as good as Hinduism. Some of their practices are even, they teach better than they teach. In fact, they're more disciplined and streamlined. So we are happy that at least one person could get away his perceptions. Then we have a major, I would say, practical exercise. It's mandatory for all my 15,000 students on the campus, whether it's from law or pharmacy or engineering or computer, no matter MBA. to spend at least 1 week in a village and appreciate their problems and come back and tell us what solutions that he is giving. If he's a pharmacy person, he would tell us the student has to give us an essay on how best he can contribute to the health. If it's somebody from commerce or economics, he needs to tell us how the farmer can sell his crop. And if it's a mechanical engineer, whether he can provide, devise something. So this is one other major, whether it's 2-year program also, it's for MBA, and there are some programs which are MAs, all these programs, we have this. So that means we also teaching in the classroom, we're also making them to go appreciate India in a different perspective. Again, this may be of use for many people. Some people may not really see it in numbers. It's also compulsory for every student to go on a national tour. And we are the only university in the entire world probably which takes all its students on an overseas tour. I think last time we sent, we call them as a golden batch, when the first batch of the university, whether it's 2-year batch in the second year, it's a 4-year batch in the 4th year, it's a 3-year course in economics and BSc, to be the 3rd year, subsidized one, where about a 4-week international tour. So this is all part of our peace. When we talk about, if you have to have the peace, it's not enough if you see, if you read, if you appreciate yourself and your surrounding, you also need to appreciate the other perspectives. So this is one thing that our university is majorly doing. And then I take serious pride in the fact that SDGs we teach. Every student of ours would know all the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of United Nations. So I think this is one beautiful concept. I would say this is the best that any university can do. You don't have to do much. And of course, we also teach about yoga, importance of yoga. And there's a yoga session, regular yoga sessions. And we also have a peace prayers. Peace prayer doesn't belong to any religion, any caste, any community. It's purely a world peace this thing. So this is the whole philosophy. The whole philosophy revolves around, there's something called peace towards which every student can work for. And remember, we teach like all other normal universities. But about having 100 programs is not many universities can boast 100 programs. We teach all of them. In addition to that, we also give that supplement. So everyone would necessarily need to appreciate this something called peace, and we need to work towards that. So this is what the question was, what is that our university is doing? We teach, we make them practice, appreciate rural India, appreciate whole of India, and then maybe the world. This is one. There's one other aspect I would like to connect. We also hold Sarpanch Sansad. All the Sarpanch Sansad, Teachers Congress, Mahila Parliament, and then Chhatra Sansad. These 4 major events in our calendar, where we invite all the Sarpanches to come and address our students. So they would know the rural side. All the teachers around the world would talk about their teaching practices. And then, of course, Bharatiya Chhatra Sansad is the biggest, the flagship event of our university, where about 10,000 students. Then the speakers would be who is who, including the Bharat Ratnas and Nobel Peace Prize winners to everybody. And as last Sunday itself, while we were having the coffee table last Sunday, we also announced, we declared Dalai Lama chair. His Holiness Dalai Lama has accepted to have a chair with our university. And through these chairs, he promised to bring in Nobel Peace Prize winners to talk to our students and deliver talks. So there's so many initiatives. If a university is really committed, if people think that we are World Peace University, I was telling, when I took over, I was asking my Chancellor, sir, instead of World Peace University, could it not have been a Sanskrit word, Vishwa Shanti Vishwa Vidyalaya? In fact, my Chancellor is Vishwanath Karad, so Vishwa Shanti Vishwa Vidyalaya. So that means we are really World Peace University in our thoughts, in our deeds, in our actions, and what this you can clearly understand how we are going about as a university, how we can contribute to the world peace. Yeah.
I just would like to say something here. Going back to the issue of, I hope everybody understands, everybody who's here right now or will watch this video later, will understand that this is not a plug for the university which Dr. Rao represents.
No, sir. No, sir.
The idea is to learn from, to understand the processes that could be involved, that can be practiced, to get a leg up in terms of finding peace, in terms of finding solutions, in terms of finding a sustainability that might give, that would ultimately end up giving individuals or a community a sense of peace, a sense of achievement, and a sense of contentment. So once again, this question was not meant as a plug for the university or for Dr. Rao himself as far as the subject is concerned. This is to understand what can be done just by one institution. That's about it. That is the scope of that. That was the scope of that question. So we're all clear about it.
Thanks, Balu. Really, that was really needed. Thanks for telling that. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I was just telling you, if one small university in some corner of country can do all this, realize that the world peace is achieved through an individual. It's not a conflict resolution. World peace is a conflict resolution, but it's something that if it comes from within, take out that I, aham brahmasmi chhod diye. I mean, if you take that out, then you can. There's no conflict. There's no issue. That's what all our philosophers have been telling. Let's practice what is, give those values to students. Textbooks, getting them ready for future, job ready, fine. Beyond that, there has to be something more than. So this is, we talk about the value-based education.
Right. There's something very interesting happened just the other day, right? It's almost, to me, seemed, when I heard the news, it almost seemed like the Nobel Prize Committee was gearing up for our discussion today, our talk today, our conversation.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, true. Yeah.
I mean, it's a coincidence, of course, but I think personally, I think this is one of the greatest and best peace prizes ever given.
Exactly, sir. The
Food and Agriculture Organization.
Fantastic, yeah.
Even if it is not a full belly, even a half-filled belly for someone who craves for food because he or she is hungry, can go a long way. One decent meal doesn't have to be sumptuous. One decent meal that provides some nutrition can go a long way. How do you see, Dr. Rao, the value that is being placed on eradicating hunger? That's what FAO does. I mean, it doesn't have a magic wand. Nobody has a magic wand to solve all the problems in the world. I wish it was like one of those Harry Potter books where you chant a spell and it's all done. But I think the prize given to the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations is one of the greatest peace prizes ever given.
Exactly.
And how would you see the impact or the stress on feeding people, keeping hunger away, the role of that in peace, achieving peace? How does it contribute? Maybe you could elaborate for us a little. You have a far better understanding about these subjects than any of us here do right now.
I really compliment the Nobel Peace Committee for awarding this. As you said, this is probably the greatest award, the greatest that they have done. No questions about that. I've been talking about SDGs. The first SDG is a hunger-free world, or say, a world without poverty is the first goal. Second is a world without hunger. So that's what we are talking about. But talking about the influence of this Nobel Prize and then its impact, somehow, uh, the prize that was not given to Mahatma Gandhi. And I don't want to go back to the history, so I don't have many in this thing. The one that gives a Nobel Peace Prize to uh, the great Yasser Arafat, the one who taught terrorism, or say maybe Henry Kissinger or Winston Churchill, was he not responsible for millions and millions? So people say Hitler was responsible. Was Churchill less responsible? So if Winston Churchill can get a Nobel Prize and Mahatma Gandhi cannot, Yasser Arafat can get, and Barack Obama in his first year of presidency, he gets. So this award, for me, I think I would take it with a pinch of salt. So some good, some not so good, but of course, I'm not discounted this present award. But I don't think Nobel Peace Prizes have ever influenced the world's shaping of this thing. Maybe they gave it, Amnesty International. But look what happened to India and Amnesty International. I think they need to close the shop,
Right.
Which is supposed to be a democratic country. So that really doesn't. I feel that it's only maybe a pinch of salt. I won't give that much. But this award is the great one. But will it work towards peace? Is it not? Will all the 210 member countries recognize? Yes, here is a great award. So we are all signatories to that SDGs. So how much are they already contributing? Just because the SDGs have not formed today. Last 20 years they have been there. Did all the countries work towards a hunger-free world? A world without poverty? If they did not do, I don't expect them, because of this award, they would change their stance and start working. So I think, don't call me a pessimist, but each country has its own priority. Somebody in Himalaya is dying with hunger. How many American or say maybe Indian NGOs or say any other countries did send the supplies to them? Are we sending the food surplus countries? Okay, let me not take India's name. The other countries. So we are watching them die with hunger. So I don't think this decision would anyway change, alter. That's my take. Please, this is not a vice-chancellor, so this thing. This is NT Rao.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
But
My university, probably my president would have a different take, but I must be.
yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. But eradicating hunger even as part of the SDGs, I think these prizes or awards, whether it's Nobel or whether it's something else, whether they're effective or not in the long run may be debatable. But I think, at least in the short term, they drag the attention of a portion of the world's population, the people, to a particular problem. In that, I think it has its own merits. That's number one. Number two, I think all of us will benefit a lot if we can hear your views on the role of eradicating hunger as a part of helping the society. Doesn't matter whether it is my society or some other society.
Yeah, true, yeah.
It doesn't matter if a child is mine or somewhere else in the world. The child is a child. Yes, my child, I may have a little additional emotional bond. But a child is a child, doesn't matter which part of the world the child is in. The same goes for hunger. At least I believe the same goes for hunger. What is this? How can eradicating hunger play into promoting peace, whether at an individual level or at a societal level?
Yeah.
Is there a role?
I know whether I would be talking about as a part of the theme, which we are talking about the role of the universities in working towards the world peace. Of course, eradication of poverty or removing hunger, they are major this thing. How would we realize that we need to eradicate? Is it a discussion on table? Is it not incumbent on every individual of this world, every citizen, every human in this citizen, to understand and appreciate? We need to work towards removing hunger of my fellow who is there. So that's where I think it should start. That's where the realization. That's where we need to educate people. There's so many people dying of hunger. Work towards them. And then when again I would like to mention, work toward removing hunger doesn't mean provide them answer, provide them food. How to earn food. Don't give them fish. Tell them how to catch fish. So for me, I need to realize there's somebody who is hungry. So I need to realize that and help to solve that hunger, the hunger of that individual. As every individual should be committed towards that. And how will he know that there is somebody there? That is through the education. How is that education? That's where I think the universities can play a role. That's how I think ultimately, when Tagore said to the 1913, 107 years ago, God, Lord, awaken me to where there is my mind is free, so where I can see. I mean that there's no darkness. So this is where I think it's every one of us should work towards. You don't have to go and give food to the other person.
Right.
Do that hunger. So make the world realize there is a need for you to go and help and work towards removing that hunger. That's where I think we universities can play a role. Maybe world peace, yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Obviously, a hunger-free world is definitely, that's the biggest this thing. Forget the wars, forget the nuclear and chemical weapons and all that. If no child goes to sleep with an empty stomach, that's where I think we have achieved the world peace in much bigger way than any parameters that you can consider. You can think.
And it's a goal that the world can actually meet pretty easily.
Easily we can achieve.
It's one of the easiest global goals.
Easiest. You don't give them food. Tell them how to get that food. That's enough. And all of us, not only the universities, every section of society, maybe as a journalist, maybe as somebody, every section of society has a role to play, work towards a hunger-free world, a clean drinking water. The world is not able to give that. So these are the small things that if we can work towards, and then what is the SDGs? Talk about good earth, good water, good life on earth, good life on water. So we're not even saving that. We're not even good air to breathe. But I would like to go for the first ones. These are the next level.
Right.
17 are supposed to be equal. For me, every child, and then even gender equality is also very important. Let's not talk about those who are, if we can work towards what's happening to the unfortunate girls after they are born, even before they are born. Not many people in the world do realize how much that is also a big concern. Right. So let me talk about SDGs. These are some of the parameters which we can easily work towards. We can set goals and work towards. They're not difficult to work.
All right. Sir, this is probably my last question in some ways. At the end of the academic year, when the students finish their projects, whichever trimester they're in, whichever semester, whether it is a study of a life of a person or doing field work, what kind of a satisfaction do the teachers note some satisfaction levels among the students or dissatisfaction levels among the students? I hope you understand what I'm trying to get at.
Of course, yes.
And how does that work? How can something like that work or can be worked into a feedback loop mechanism to make such offerings to students, irrespective of where they're studying, more effective and more meaningful?
What is happening is in the rush towards completing syllabus and preparing exams. This is, I would blame the system also to some extent. But if a teacher is conscious, he can do wonders. He doesn't need the feedback of his students. I'll just give how I practice as a teacher, as a professional also. On the first day of my class, I tell them that if I come late to the class, don't allow me to enter the class, even if I'm late by even 1 minute. I have no business to be entering the class late. Okay, that's where my lesson starts. So, and at no point of time I'll say no student can come late. I can say I would be silent, but they know that here is a teacher who practices. But then when I teach, and even I see them as someone. I give this message to my teachers also. Now I'm the one who is as a teacher and as someone. Please remember, it's your duty to ensure that all the 60 members sitting in front of you are way ahead of you in your life, above you, beyond you. If the school teacher thinks that these children who are there sitting in front of me, I'm their boss, you will never be succeeding. The fact if even the 60th student did not do better than you, that means somewhere you failed as a teacher. So recognize them as someone whom you need to ready for future citizens of the world. That's one of the message that I see as a teacher. The third one, I would say, answering your question, it's mandatory for the teacher to give the student what he wants at his level rather than what I know. It's just absolutely, if you don't recognize that fact, you are a complete failure. You are not here to come and deliver. It's not something. It's not like you're delivering some objects. If it cannot be a package, it has to be customized to each individual. Of course, it's a different thing that each student understands, perceives. So that's another role. And then again, I can tell you, I'm known for my evaluations. Sunil knows and all his friends know. I would this thing is my instruction to the students says students can seek assistance from any source from anywhere, even public exams. So if they can copy. I tell them even my tests and quizzes. They can copy. They can phone a friend. They can discuss. They can do whatever they want if they want. But they know that they will not because my question papers are customized. Each student has to have his own data inputs or his own concepts, his own this thing. So if the teacher can take his job that seriously, I don't think. Okay, there was a in VIT Vellore when I was there. The Chancellor's son was my mentor. He was asking me that when do the students enjoy the class and enjoy the evaluation, and he saw my feedback. The 10 parameters on then 10. He said, how can Dr. Rao get 10 out of 10 from all the students giving that? So I don't, there must be something wrong. So next time I was taking class of 64. The same thing, 64 students and all the parameters gave me all the marks. Because one more thing I can tell you that if the teacher can convince the students that he is for them. So this is where it's not, you can manipulate, and these are all, you would not even know which student they give what marks and all that. So then he had to accept that because here your feedback about that, I would want each teacher to be conscious and working towards each individual student. I can tell you, Balu, that last 40 years I've been teaching. On my Facebook, I've got about 500 friends. Or 450 of them are my former students. I can recollect every single student and at least one single attribute other than his name. I know something about his family. I know something about job, something about his anecdote. If you can make the teacher can give that much of a personalized attention, groom him instead of teaching them, groom a student. Your question on feedback, it doesn't really matter to me what they tell about me. I think that I do my duty. In that process, they give me a bad feedback. I'm okay. It's not that I'm a dudh ka dulava. I must have been. I must have erred somewhere. I must have been harsh on somebody. I must have not been 100%. But still, so this is, I think, whether it's projects I'm guiding, so whichever at the end of graduation or at the end of each class, I adopt this. So I would want, but it's not easy, it's not all that easy for every teacher to do that. But
Right.
I follow that.
All right. Ooh. Dr. Rao, 45 minutes flew by.
Sorry?
The 45 minutes flew by us. You know, like I said on the brief phone conversation we had, when it comes to learning, I can get extremely selfish. And nobody is going to blame me saying I'm selfish because I'm only learning.
I don't know whether I could teach you. I mean, you learned something from today. But now I would request Swamy, Dr. Swamy is hearing here, listening.
Yes.
I would want him to have next session with a journalist, world through lens of a journalist. Maybe we could learn from you. Why should you get all the fun? Why should you get all the learning? Why should we not get some learning?
Well, why should I get to ask all the questions, is it?
No. We should also learn from you. So that you learned from us. So we should also learn from you. So that maybe whatever prism that he would give you, Dr. Swamy, we should also be seeing the world through you. You also learn from you.
That will be a
Your
privilege.
questions actually challenged me to speak that. It's not something, a conversation. It's not I was saying monologue, but obviously I was answering the questions. So we needed a thoughtful and such a knowledgeable journalist like you for me to express, come out. Yeah.
You're being very kind and generous.
Of course. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'd really like to thank Balu very much. I think enjoy talking that. I think I've had a good friend with whom I can have a good journey forward. Looking forward meeting you for the first time.
It was thank you, Dr. Swamy and Dr. Rao. Thank you so much. It was really enjoyable. It was fun, and yes, I love to ask questions, and sometimes when I answer, and sometimes when I give responses, I can sound a little harsh.
You are
But
not.
I think it goes. That's something I try. That's what I am. I mean, it comes with me. It's part of who I am. And yeah, Dr. Swamy, once again, thank you so much for this opportunity. And Dr. Rao, it was a real pleasure from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.